Hi, I'm Frances, and welcome to my channel. I last night finished reading Shirley Jackson's The Bird's Nest, and I finished it last night about midnight, and I just lay in bed last night thinking about this book. It was a very, um, what would you say? It was a very intense book. Or it is a very intense book. It's one that you really have to pay attention. It is a girl, Elizabeth, who has four personalities, um, multiple personality disorder, I suppose. So there is herself, Elizabeth, and then there is Beth, who is sort of sweet, and then there is Betsy, who is, in the beginning, she seems very evil. She doesn't always stay evil. Um, she's very scary when you start reading. She kind of gets better. And then there is Bess, who's just unlikable. Not really evil, but unlikable. And so I had to sort of go back and reread some passages sometimes because they flip back and forth so quickly, and you have to really pay attention to who's doing what. But I said in another video, because We Have Always Lived in the Castle is the first Shirley Jackson book that I've ever read. I haven't read The Lottery. I still haven't read The Lottery. And I find her to be an absolute genius, obviously. But not only that, she's such a great writer because she puts in horror. I can't say that word. She puts in horror, and she also puts in the midst of the scary stuff, she just puts the most hilarious little pieces. Like there's a part in this book that was so genius where the four personalities are Elizabeth goes to take a bath, and then when she gets out, then another personality sees the bath and thinks it's time for the bath. Anyway, all four of them end up taking a bath, so they're in, they're out, they're in, they're out. That was such a great scene. Oh, but anyway, so Elizabeth lives with her aunt, and her father died when she was little, and her mother passed. It's not ever really clear what happened to the mother. She may or may not have had something to do with her mother's death. That was never really made clear. It really, I guess, doesn't have to. So she lives with her aunt, and after the passing of her mother, she develops these personalities. And the aunt takes her to see a psychoanalyst and Dr. Wright. And when I first started reading the book, when one of the personalities came out, Betsy, it was very devilly, and it seemed like I might be dealing with a book about demonic possession. And I don't like anything to do with demonic possession, The Exorcist. I hate all that stuff. So originally, when I started reading and that came out, I was like, oh crap, I'm not going to be able to finish this book. And I put it down, but I really wanted to read it because like I said, I've just discovered Shirley Jackson and love her very much. And so I picked it back up. I'm glad I did because it ended up being, uh, well, I don't know. It sort of borders on demonic possession. But I think that by the end of the book, and by the way, these are spoilers, so if you haven't read it, I think by the end of the book, you realize that it's not really that. It's just her consciousness or her personalities sort of dividing themselves up because something traumatic has happened. And yeah, so anyway, I guess that's really all that I just want to say without giving too much away. It's just that this was a very interesting book. I'm very interested in, and this is not why I picked it up. I didn't know what the book was about. I just went to my bookstore and just got everything that I could find by this author. But I am interested in the multiple personalities because my mother actually has a friend that she grew up with since childhood who has multiple personalities. And it's not like one of her closest friends, so I don't know all the details of it, but I do know that one of the very interesting um, facets of this is that the woman smokes And one of her personalities is a child who doesn't like that she smokes and hides her cigarettes. I've always found that fascinating. And the idea of multiple personalities, I've also remember reading one time that uh, one personality might be allergic to peanuts, even though the original person is not allergic to peanuts. And if they are that personality and eat peanuts, they will have an allergic reaction. Whereas if they have switched back to themselves and eat peanuts, they won't. And that is crazy. So it's really something to think about. Very strange, but yes, this book was really fantastic, and I loved it, and I loved the ending. I had read some reviews saying that the ending didn't tie up so well. It did for me because I just thought that the ending was very charming. I thought it was a great ending. I finished this book last night about midnight, and I just lay in bed and just thought about. I just thought it was perfect. I thought it was a great book. I love Miss Shirley Jackson, and yeah, I guess that's basically all that I want to say. It's just she had like some really crazy stuff and then some hilarious stuff mixed in. And yes, but yes, you really have to pay attention because it switches back and forth between the personalities. I would have to go back and be like, hold on, who? Okay. But anyway, yeah, this was really great. And I'm so glad that I have discovered this incredible author. I'm just excited to read everything, and so yes, I give this 5 stars, and that's it. Goodbye.